Forever remembered, the life, music, and legacy of Vidi Aldiano. The world of Indonesian music fell silent on March 7, 2026, when the news broke that Vidi Aldiano had passed away at the age of 35. The beloved singer, whose full name was Oxavia Aldiano, lost his long and courageous battle with kidney cancer, leaving behind a void that his fans, fellow artists, and the entire music industry are still struggling to fill. He passed away at 4:33 p.m. WIB, surrounded by his family, a peaceful ending to a life that had been anything but easy in its final years, yet one that had been extraordinarily rich in meaning, music, and love. Vidi was born on March 29, 1990, in Jakarta, Indonesia, into a family that nurtured his love for the arts from a very young age. Growing up in a creative household, he discovered his passion for music early and began developing the vocal talent that would eventually make him one of the most recognized voices in the Indonesian pop scene. His path was not accidental, it was the result of years of dedication, rehearsal, and a genuine emotional connection to the songs he performed. From the very beginning, there was something different about how Vidi approached music. It was never just a performance for him. It was always a conversation, between him and his listeners, between melody and feeling, between who he was and who he hoped to become. His music career officially launched in 2008 with his debut album Pelangi di Malam Hari, which introduced audiences to his signature emotional ballad style. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Songs like Nuansa Bening and Cinta Jangan Kau Pergi struck a deep chord with listeners across Indonesia, earning him a devoted fanbase that would stay with him through every chapter of his career. His voice carried a kind of sincerity that was rare, warm, vulnerable, and deeply human. He sang about love not as an abstract concept, but as something lived, felt, and sometimes lost. That emotional honesty is what made his music endure. Over the years, Vidi continued to grow as an artist. He released multiple albums, collaborated with other prominent Indonesian musicians, and expanded his presence well beyond the recording studio. He became a cultural figure, someone who represented a certain kind of artistic integrity in a music industry often driven by trends and commercial pressures. While he embraced the spotlight, he never lost the personal touch that made his fans feel seen and heard. His concerts were not just performances, they were shared experiences between an artist and the people who loved his work. Beyond his musical career, Vidi also made a name for himself as a media personality. He hosted the PodHub podcast, where he engaged in thoughtful conversations with guests from various fields, artists, entrepreneurs, public figures, and everyday people with compelling stories. The podcast allowed a different side of Vidi to shine through, his curiosity, his warmth, and his ability to connect with people on a deeply personal level. Listeners who had only known him through his music discovered a man who was just as engaging and genuine off the stage as he was on it. One of the most defining aspects of Vidi's later public life was his openness about his health journey. In 2019, he was diagnosed with kidney cancer, a diagnosis that would have broken many people, but which Vidi faced with remarkable courage and transparency. Rather than retreating from public life or keeping his illness private, he chose to speak openly about his experience. He shared the realities of living with cancer, the physical and emotional toll of surgeries and treatments, and the importance of early detection and medical awareness. His willingness to be vulnerable about something so deeply personal inspired countless people, not just those dealing with cancer, but anyone navigating a difficult chapter in their lives. He underwent surgery and continued to fight, even as his condition fluctuated over the following years. Through it all, he kept creating music, connecting with fans, and living as fully as he possibly could. His attitude toward his illness was never one of despair, but of determination. He spoke frequently about gratitude, for the people in his life, for the music he had been able to make, and for the time he had been given. That perspective, born from a place of genuine hardship, resonated with millions of people who admired not just his talent but his spirit. In 2021, Vidi married actress Sheila Dara Aisha in a celebration that brought joy to fans who had followed his personal life alongside his career. Their relationship was a source of comfort and strength for Vidi, particularly during his most difficult health struggles. Sheila stood by him with unwavering support, and their bond became something fans deeply respected and admired. The love between them was visible not just in interviews and social media posts, but in the way Vidi spoke about her, with a tenderness and gratitude that made it clear she was his greatest anchor. Vidi was also a passionate music fan himself, and his love for the South Korean group EXO was well known. He proudly identified as an EXO-L and a Dandanie, the official name for fans of Chinese-Canadian EXO member Lei Zhang, and he wore that identity without embarrassment or pretension. For many fans in the K-pop community, this made him feel like one of their own. He bridged worlds that do not always overlap, the Indonesian pop music scene and the global K-pop fandom, and in doing so, he showed that music is a universal language that transcends borders, languages, and genres. His enthusiasm for EXO was genuine and infectious, and it endeared him to a whole new generation of fans who came to know him not just as a singer, but as a fellow music lover. The outpouring of grief following his passing has been extraordinary. Tributes have come from across the Indonesian music industry, from K-pop fan communities around the world, from fellow artists, podcast listeners, cancer awareness advocates, and from the countless ordinary people whose lives were touched by his music. Social media has been flooded with memories, favorite song lyrics, concert videos, and personal stories of what Vidi meant to people. The phrase Innalillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un, a traditional Islamic expression of condolence meaning, indeed, we belong to God, and indeed, to Him we shall return, has been shared widely, particularly as his passing occurred during the holy month of Ramadan, adding a layer of spiritual significance to the collective mourning. What stands out most in the tributes is not just praise for his music, but deep affection for who he was as a person. People remember his smile, his kindness in fan interactions, his humility despite his fame, and his willingness to show up fully, in his art, in his conversations, and in his illness. He never pretended to be something he was not. He was honest about his fears, his hopes, and his struggles. In an industry where image often takes precedence over authenticity, Vidi Aldiano was refreshingly, beautifully real. His legacy is not confined to a discography, impressive as that discography is. It lives in the fans who discovered their love of music through his songs, in the people who found courage through his cancer journey, in the listeners of his podcast who came away with a broader view of the world, and in the young artists who will carry forward the example he set, that it is possible to be both talented and kind, both successful and genuine. Both a public figure and a real human being. Vidi Aldiano lived 35 years, and in those 35 years, he managed to leave an impression that will last far longer. His music will continue to play at celebrations and in quiet moments of reflection. His story will continue to inspire people facing their own health battles. His laughter will echo in the memories of everyone who knew him or loved him from afar. And his voice, that warm, honest, searching voice, will never truly go silent. Rest in love, Vidi. You were heard. You were felt. You will always be remembered. Blue Heart.